life's a gamble, I roll dice. Bet against me, I roll twice. I done beat the odds my whole life. I said I'm ready for greatness.
Shit, Dave.
Welcome back to another episode of the Autonomous Podcast. I am your host, Damian Jackson, meaning AI. Let's get right into it. So on today's episode, we're going to talk about how trash the economy is, and Trump cannot fix the economy. The funny thing about Trump is when people criticize him, they don't actually criticize him for, his job, his politics, his real politics, his business situations and choices and stuff. It's usually, his antics or whatever, how I want to say this, the theatrics that he likes to put on and stuff, because there's always a show with him when you see him talking and stuff. And I would say not always, but for the most part, it seems to be more or less a dramatization, because he's one of those businessmen where they won't really say exactly what they're doing, and they'll put on this whole image in the front, whether it's good or bad. It doesn't matter I don't say it doesn't matter to him, but there's more to it than what you see. That's why some people have said that when you're alone with them in the private meetings and stuff like that, whole different persona, whole different personality and stuff, straight to business. And they can kind of pick up on the actual intellect and things like that. But he likes to boast things that he's not actually going to do, but that's also marketing. When I was in the Air Force, that's what they used to always tell us. You talk up what you're going to do. If I say I'm going to get something done in 4 months, the reality is I probably already have it done, or I'll have it done within like 2 to 3 weeks. And then once it's done, I will let everybody know within like 3 months. So I could be like, look how quickly I got it done. You get what I'm saying? Like you pretty much talk up what you're going to do. And so he does a lot of those techniques, and he has a lot of those tactics and whatnot. And when he talked about he was going to lower the prices and he was going to do all this and whatnot, that was always bullshit. That was always bullshit. That was always bullshit, because the reality is, for the most part, you can't. When he talking about, I'm going to fix the economy, I'm going to do this, there's no fixing this shit. It's a debt-based society. It's a debt-based economy. It's a debt-based monetary system. The money is based on nothing. It's based on nothing. It's based on nothing. You can say, well, it's a military industrial complex, the power and influence of what goes on in America, as far as, the weapon manufacturing. You can kind of throw in the AI and stuff, and he's trying to throw in like crypto assets, digital assets and things like that. It's not going to make a difference, because 1913, the Federal Reserve Act, right then and there, that changed everything. Unless they want to or are willing to get rid of the Federal Reserve and have an actual capitalism, have actual capitalistic principles in the sense of free market, which won't exist, because you got to have government, or people choose to have government rather. Nobody wants to be autonomous. People choose to have government. So you cannot have capitalism in its purity, in its true authentic form, because capitalism only exists in a free market society, which we are not in, clearly, because we have government intervention. So Trump cannot save the economy. The bitch is going to implode. Like there's nothing they can do about it. I heard before, and this goes into like when you go into finding out different theories or researching different things and whatnot on the internet and stuff like that. I remember hearing someone speak about this, and others speak about it too, that Trump was brought in to bankrupt. And not necessarily bankrupt the economy. I shouldn't say it that way. More or less, he can handle bankruptcies. I think he has a couple of bankruptcies in his financial past and whatnot. So that's what really the United States government is going through. A bankruptcy. They can't pay off the debt. You're not paying off 37, is it 36, $37 trillion, something like that. You're not paying off that. You're not paying off. Debt is not even meant to be paid off. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Right? Because for the most part, you got money that was never actually of real value, any worth anyways. They're talking about doing an audit of Fort Knox and finding the gold. But if that bitch is there, we all know that's sketchy in itself. So if the money's not really backed by gold, and if it's just supposedly backed by the goodwill, the faith of the United States government, which is not really that strong, that's why you're seeing the dollar go down, because it's purchasing power. One thing to be talked about recently is purchasing power parity. I mean, how much can you buy for that $1 of your currency? That's why other countries, even though their currency is lesser of the dollar in a sense, in market terms, you can still get more food and water or supplies and whatever things with their $1 equivalent than you can in America because of purchasing power parity. If I don't have that mistaken, I'm gonna pull up something to show the actual definition of it and stuff. But the issue with the economy is that this was always going to be an issue. It was always going to be this way. It was designed, when you're talking about the Federal Reserve Act 1913, when you're talking about all those things that took place, it was designed for people to just, run a scam and make money. And that's, for the most part, how history goes. And that's how all these countries, these large empires, that's how they all go. Because it is greed. And I don't think it's greed in the sense of human nature. It's greed in the sense of select people. And people, whether you want to call them interdimensional beings, whether you want to call them secret society, no matter what, they're like-minded in that sense of, I want more and I will find more and I will collect more and I will have more for myself and those I choose to have more with. They're not about sharing. Resources are abundant. Money is abundant, especially since we're literally making this shit up. When you check your bank account and the ones and zeros go from other ones and zeros to other ones and zeros, and no one physically exchanged any fucking thing, you're supposed to believe now that, I'm working hard for my money. Or, man, I got a lot of my money's worth when we just been transferring computer code back and forth, right? Just data, right? That's all we've been doing and stuff. So he cannot save the economy because the economy cannot be saved because it is designed to be this way. Plain and simple. It's working the way it's supposed to be working. So how can you say something that's not, or how can you fix something rather that's not broken? It's all by design. Everything's done by design. You could say that maybe when they did the 1913 Act, they weren't intending on it to be going for this long. You can say that maybe they thought something else would have had happened by now. Maybe they thought the demise of the American government would have happened by now. I mean, it's on track for that. So when you look at people criticizing the Trump administration, saying that he's destroying the government, once again, that's not a bad thing. I mean, I'm anti-government autonomy. So I don't think we should have these governments anyways, because they're not really serving a purpose. But the reality is most people don't want to hold themselves accountable or think about their own decisions. So we have government because majority of y'all still choose that. Majority of people will choose that until a conscious shift happens. But to think that Trump was going to save the economy, it was never realistic. He might do some shit. It might sound good. It might have a short-term effect. But in the long term, all they can actually do is, in a sense, bankrupt it, but actually reset it. That's what this is all about. Resetting the economy, resetting the financial structure, resetting the monetary system. That's it. That's what the focus is. So eliminating government waste, eliminating jobs, stripping down the federal government in itself is part of this, because the federal government has became too fucking big, too fucking big, unnecessarily over the fucking top. All these agencies, all these jobs, literal jobs that people just collecting paychecks. That's why everybody wants a government job. That's why these people want government contracts. It's guaranteed money. Why? Because the government is the one creating the fucking money, or giving the seal of approval or the stamp of approval, or validating this fake monetary system that we're in. They're making shit up, pulling shit out their ass, and everyone's like, okay. With like little pushback. So it doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republic, or whatever. None of that shit matters, man. It doesn't matter. It's about this government and the fact that it's collapsing. And it was always going to collapse. It was never sustainable. It was never sustainable. Because even if you want to believe the founding fathers and the original Articles of Confederation, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights and shit like that, that shit's long gone. That shit's long gone. That shit's long gone. Then people will bring up, oh, well, we had slavery and we had all this stuff going on. What y'all thought majority of human civilization was built upon? Slave labor. The reality is they would imprison people and then turn them into slaves. Prisoners of war, if those that commit crimes, it doesn't matter what part in the world and what time period. Slavery in the Americas, slavery in Europe, slavery in Africa, slavery in Asia, slavery in the Pacific. Motherfuckers, if they can find a way to get labor at a cheap cost, they will do it. And for the most part, most people don't fight back. Right? You got to hold yourself accountable no matter what. You can't play victim to it. Another conversation. I don't want to go off into that though. The economy in itself, as we move forward, when you talk about the economy and the government, and you talk about DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, fucking stupid ass acronym, and it's one big ass fucking joke. When you talk about Elon Musk being a part of it, I've seen people say that that's a conflict of interest. Well, the whole government is a conflict of interest. Like they first and foremost, they're all insider traders. So people on government salaries are becoming millionaires. Well, they're all investing in the stock market. You would too if you knew which contracts were going to be handed out, which things were going to go up, which assets, what resources were going to be used in the next 5 to 10 years. You would be a millionaire too. And if there's no law against it, they ain't doing nothing illegal. And that's the wild part. And they're the ones that pass the laws. Like, do y'all not see how this system, the system doesn't benefit anybody? Duh. I'm not even mad at it. I used to be that way until I just saw it for what it is. That system is in place, and people put that system in place for those that know of it and to benefit from it, and for everyone else to be, well, fucked by it. Diddy style. I gotta stop. Oh my God, I gotta stop. But people want to be victims of it and stuff, but the reality is it's your fault. It's my fault. It's all our fault. Because we go about our day-to-day lives and we just, ignore it. And we're like, whatever and stuff, whatever. And I'm not talking about ignoring in the sense of not voting or not voting on this legislation. I'm talking about ignoring in the sense of we should be the ones pushing the envelope to say, hey, where the fuck is the money going? To say, hey, we all don't want to be a part of no Ukrainian war. We all don't want to be a part of Israel and whatever the fuck they got going on in the Middle East with Palestine, Gaza Strip, Hamas, none of that shit. That's not our fucking problem. We as citizens of this country, we could be like, hey, we got a military, but we want our military to just, I don't know, protect the continental United States or protect the territory that's closest to the geographical location of the United States of America. There's nothing in the fucking Middle East for the United States of America. Once you start doing that, that's when the empire is. Now we're playing Risk, right? Setting up bases all over the place. I seen something where Trump was talking about having a base set up or buying land in Gaza Strip. The fuck for it? Well, because he still is a Zionist. And it's not anti-Semitic. God, this shit's gonna be taken down. Definitely probably won't be able to clip this, but fuck it. No matter what president you vote for, they're still for Israel and stuff. So how can he say the economy and all this other stuff and do part of and be America first, but America is still like 1B because it's still Israel? And then you can say, well, maybe he's playing a long game or something. But is he? There is no saving this. There's only implosion, and then there's only a reset. But in in legal terms, you can say it's bankrupt. Although, how does a government go bankrupt if the government is not a corporation, but the government is a corporation? By legal definition, it's a corporation. They know this. I would say they all don't know it because a lot of people want to be ignorant towards it. A lot of people want to be naive towards it. But yeah, it's a corporation. It is what it is. District of Columbia, where the federal government resides. That's their headquarters. Moving forward, it seems we'll be more, I want to say governed, but definitely more of a society around the world that functions with the use of AI. So that's why you're seeing OpenAI around Trump administration. Elon Musk is definitely using AI to do those audits. Don't get that shit twisted. He's definitely using the AI to use his audits and stuff. And he's definitely collecting information. Machine learning purposes, though, to be honest with you, not necessarily for just asset or just have information on everybody to have your fucking social security number. No, they're all collecting data for machine learning to, teach their AI systems. So moving forward, you're going to start to see competing AI systems. There was the new animated Terminator film on Netflix, or a series on Netflix. Not to spoil it, but whatever. It's not just one AI system, it's another AI system. So we all worry about Skynet. But what if it's just not just Skynet? And there's Skynet and everything else out there. So now we got to worry about competing AI systems across the globe. Because China will be the Chinese government will be developing their own AI system. Russian government, Putin, will be developing their own AI system. United States will be developing their own AI system. Other countries will follow, or they will combine together. Robotics. You'll start to see a lot of that. We're going into that, sci-fi movie era that we're all like, what the fuck is going on? So that's why as we move forward, it would be like, he's going to save the economy, but so much other shit will happen where the economy won't even be our concern. It won't even be our focus. Now, do I think he can pull this off within the next 4 years? No, unless something big has to take place. I don't want to call it a black swan event, but something big has to take place in the sense of 2020. 2020, something that where it puts the whole world on a kind of standstill and a reset happens. There's been talks within the crypto community, especially on the internet, mainly on the internet, in which the financial reset You hear it in the financial system or financial communities when you're talking about the stock market and things like that. A financial reset essentially would be a monetary and economic reset. Well, global reset when you talk about the World Economic Forum. So this has been planned out. And everyone in every country, all these leaders, all these people in position in so-called power to make these decisions, they're all part of this reset. So Trump is not saving the economy. We're all a part of this global reset into which we switch to something new. And well, the AI systems, quantum computers, those things will be out there. And there will be transparency, not necessarily to we the people, the public, but there'll be transparency amongst those that so-called make decisions and shit. But our problem for the regular day-to-day person is that we need to make them be transparent, that the government is not its own institution. The government is not even a representation of us. The government is a tool that we use. We as a society, until we say the government is there because we want it to be there, we will never have that full power the way it should be, because we give it up. When we say the government can do whatever they want, no, the fuck, the government cannot do whatever they want, because the government cannot exist without us. So it's not even about whether or not Trump can save the economy. It's about us paying attention and saying, you know what? Destroy the shit. We will reset it. We will evolve, because evolution is constant. That's the only thing that's constant. Change. Evolution is inevitable. But we don't need a savior. We ain't got to vote for nobody to save this shit. We all just need to stop and fucking pay attention and just say, hey, what do we actually want moving forward? Do we want this fake money? Do we want a balance of the digital and physical money? Do we want to have a debt-based system? Do we want a system based on actual sound financial principles? Do we want a financial system that does incorporate cryptocurrency, digital assets? Hell, do we actually want to get rid of central banks? Do we want to get rid of banks altogether? Because there's no reason to have a bank. There's no reason to have a bank. You can take care of your own money. You can custody your own assets and your own accounts. And if you want a third party, it doesn't have to be a bank. Why do we have to use that word? Why can't it just be financial manager, asset manager? If you ever dive into the financial world and stuff, you'll start hearing all these different terms, derivatives. You'll start hearing all types of different terms. And as you try to research and look what they are, none of that shit makes sense. You have to shift your perception and kind of dive into that world of fake money, just fake bullshit for it to make sense. Because they will make trillions and trillions and quadrillions of dollars if we allow them to reset us into this digital blockchain money system. But it's just basically digitizing what they're already doing anyways. And if we don't make sure that they have some physical backing where the money's backed by natural resources, backed by gold, backed by silver, precious metals, backed by something in the physical world, we're fucking screwed. We're screwed. But once again, we just have to pay attention to it all. That's it. It's that simple. Trump cannot save the economy. No president you vote for can save the U.S. American economy. None of that shit. We have to take back the economy and pay attention and say, yes, we do want a free market. No, we don't need the government involved. Hell, you can run it on AI. You can run it on blockchain. You can do this shit. And if you don't think that you can use the AI to set the shit up, I think I'm going to do it. Actually, I've already done it. If I'm not mistaken, I've already done it. Just take some certain principles, put in the chat GBT or whatever, and work out the problem. Hell, you can use DeepSeek. It doesn't matter. Work out the problem in which we can create a financial system, not based on debt, based on physical money, based on digital money. We can create an economy that's abundant on resources and not scarcity mindset. Because all this scarcityness, we're just going to run with it. All that basically is only there to make money. That's it. That's it. Oh, how can you drive up the prices on something? Oh, well, we don't have that much of it. So now it's more valuable. We have to increase the price of it because supply and demand concept or supply and demand theory. It's all bullshit. And I know some will hear this and think that, oh, well, he's just talking. He don't know what he's talking about, blah, blah. I do. And so do you. The problem is you think you don't. The problem is we allow these people that, their fancy words and things like that. You don't have to be an expert on everything, but you can have general knowledge on things and you can ask questions. And if the question is not answered or they start saying it's too, I always say that if you ask a question and then someone starts saying it's too complicated, well, isn't a sign of intelligence taking something extremely complicated and breaking it down in simple terms? Because if you leave it extremely complicated and you can't break it down into simple terms, how do I not know that you're not just bullshitting me? How do I not know you're not just fucking playing around and trying to treat me like the fucking fool, running a scam on me? Because you can't tell me the United States economy and the monetary system, you can't tell me the dollar's not a scam. You know it's a scam. $1 today is not the same as $1 yesterday. $1 today ain't the same dollar 20 years ago. They done told you oil is scarce, yet oil keeps popping up, I don't know, all around the fucking world. You don't think that's interesting? They keep telling you, we're going to run out of this, we're going to do this. It's always some type of scarcity mindset. And then what? The price goes up. Technology is getting better. The way they design homes and make homes is supposed to be getting better. They're supposed to have the resources and all this other stuff. And then yet the prices are going up when they should be going down. They'll tell you, it's the cost of this and a supply chain. They start throwing all these different things stuff. But universal laws, if it goes one way, it should be able to swing the pendulum the other way. These are things that we really got to think about. Because, like I said earlier, the economy was always going to implode. It was always going to fail. It was never designed to actually sustain society because it's not meant for society. It is meant for people to make money, but only a select group of people to make money, which is basically those that know. And people like Trump who know how to make the money. And it's slave labor, or you're using cheap labor, you're doing this, you're doing that, or you got to cut corners and stuff like that. Yeah, because it's not a economic system or monetary system built on positivity, not even neutrality in the sense of positive and negative energy. It's based on scarcity and greed and cutting corners and things like that. And even if you are a halfway decent person, you're still going to look for loopholes to take advantage of so you can make your money. Now, that's a whole nother conversation. We can argue about the type of people that do stuff like that, and is it justifiable, and what type of person it makes them. Can we criticize and judge them? But when it comes to the economy, what you can do moving forward is find ways to attain assets, gold, precious metal, buy stock, cryptocurrency, digital assets, those things that moving forward will hold some value. Because unless all humanity, or even just breaking down to just localization, if the American society says, you know what, we don't like none of this stuff, and we all stood up and said, no, fuck the government, fuck all this, we're taking control. Things have changed instantly. Things change instantly. Things would change. Hell, we could just stop corporations. The fact that a corporation can have the same, I want to say values, can be treated in such as if it's a real person in terms of law, that's already sketchy. When we talk about Amazon, Amazon doing this and Facebook and Meta is doing this. And then we hold the CEO accountable, but the CEO only holds like 1% or 2% stake in the company or something like that. And most of them sell off their shares and stuff. So, and because they minimize risk and liability and whatnot. So when we talk about Walmart or something like that, the Walton family, a lot of people are not actually held responsible. No one's held responsible because of the corporation, because they hide behind the laws and stuff. So we done made these corporations seem like they're actual entities when they're not. They're fucking not. They are not. But if we talk about them in such like that, well, we're part of this reality in which we're manifesting this type of economy. Plain and simple. Now, of course, I'm talking a little bit more about spirituality, which kind of goes over people's head as well. Then again, how I'm stringing this all together might go over people's head. Oh, you're just yapping, or you don't know what you're talking about. It is for who receives it. If it resonates with you, it does. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. That's all I can say for you. Those that know, know. Those that get it, get it. Those that don't tend to get mad at it, which is odd enough, as opposed to just ignoring it altogether. But yeah, I'll leave with this, and I'll reiterate it again. Trump cannot save the economy. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. He can talk the good talk. He can put up that bullshit, which I don't think most even believe anyways. I don't even think the Republicans that voted for him necessarily believe that either. Because he contributed to the debt. He contributed to the inflation, 2020, COVID, the vaccine, stuff like that. Biden contributed to it. Every fucking president before him contributed to it. Every administration before him. Every fucking Congress. Everybody in DC contribute to this in one way or another, directly or indirectly. So we are where we are because of that. And we're reaching the end of the road. Press the fucking button, implode the bitch, reset, start over. But this time, we the people, we as a society, we the fucking species, we gotta take control of this shit. I'm out.
Life's a gamble, I roll dice. Bet against me, I roll twice. I done beat the odds my whole life. I said I'm ready for
Talking
greatness.
shit, dang.